Honored to meet you. Thank you so much for inviting me to your facility. I gotta ask, I'm walking through these hallways and my jaw's just dropping nonstop. And you come here every day for work.
Yeah.
Does it make your jaw drop still?
I've been doing this for a good long while. I've
Yeah.
been working in animation for nearly 20 years, and it's still pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's still, you feel like you're walking into Santa's workshop, albeit with steampunk, elves with tattoos and piercings.
Sure.
But it's still an extraordinary thing. I mean, the air in this place just crackles with creativity and invention. People are coming up with new, ingenious little devices all day long.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty incredible. As long as I've been doing this, I still absolutely love what we do.
Yeah, and you mentioned that I was going to jump into this too about these little devices I've been seeing, like your creators, and they solve problems,
Yeah.
but they come up with one of the greatest ways to solve problems. I've seen, piano wire to make, capes stay in place and whatnot. Is there still like a time that you remember solving a problem like that that still just inspired you to do this?
It's, I think the great thing about this process is that it's a convergence, it's a merging of art, craft, and technology. These things are kind of roiling around in a big gumbo, and we just swirl everything around. So whatever tool makes the most sense, albeit something that's super low tech or something that's incredibly high tech that we have to invent technology for, that's what we end up doing, whatever makes the most sense for the film. So, we end up doing things like if we need to make a road, well, we'll use kitty litter, and then we'll paint it. Or, if we need to, we built this incredible giant skeleton monster and invented this rig to hold him up and move him around. And yet one of the things that's holding one of his arms up is a cable with a bucket and sandbag.
Yeah.
So it's all these strange combination of really high-tech stuff and low-tech stuff blending together, which brings these things to life.
For this particular project, what kind of inspired you to want to tackle this theme and tone and whatnot?
So in stop motion, there's never been a big epic fantasy told before on this level. And at the core of it, we started working on this film about 5 years ago. And in the very simplest form, it's a big epic samurai movie told in stop motion. And there was something about that idea that really struck a chord with me, because you go back to the great films by Kurosawa, who then inspired Lucas and Spielberg, and then Lucas made Star Wars, and all these things begat the next. But at its core, the birth of the modern cinematic epic is largely comes from Japan and Kurosawa. And so the opportunity to tell a story on this scale in this medium was something that was really challenging but really exciting, and I'm really happy with the way it came together.
When you speak about challenging, for you, what was the most challenging scene to film in this one?
I mean, it's all hard. None of it's easy. Hence the 5 years it takes to make it.
Sure.
But I think it's two things. The one thing is to make these puppets, which Kubo, he's about 9.5 inches tall. On the subtlest form, on the small portion of the spectrum, it's to make him feel like he's a fully alive, living, breathing kid with emotions and feelings and who has aspirations and everything else. So to make him have the subtlety of human emotion just in this coming out of this little doll can be challenging, but we have an extraordinary team of animators that really pulled it off. And then on the other end of the spectrum, it's the spectacle. We have this big action scene that takes place on this boat during, with raging seas and storms, and characters are flying around and doing all kinds of martial arts. And that's, not easy to do when you're manipulating everything a frame at a time. But I think the convergence of both those things, the minutia and the grandeur coming together, it's really something extraordinary to see.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah,
I really
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.